Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight I did a thing. I bought another Bismarck so that you don't have to. So, let's take a look at it. We are of course talking about the brand new Bismarck B. Not to be confused with the Tech Tree Bismarck, even though they are literally identical in every way with the exception of two crucial aspects, which are relatively meh. So, let's go over them. So first of all, we're running Henry J. Hyde. We are running Haruna and Franz von Hipper as our inspirations. We are a full secondary build. We do run Flammable Cannoneer. We have Porcupine. We have Marksmanship. We have Master Mechanic. And we also run Fight Fire with Fire. Okay. For our loadout, we're running Secondary Battery Mod 2. Damage Control System Mod 2, Concealment System Mod, and we're running Secondary Bad Mod 3. Okay? To put this into perspective, these are all identical to what we're running on our Bismarck Tech Tree version. Okay? So, Bismarck Tech Tree can shoot out to 11.8 kilometers with this build on its secondaries, and the Bismarck B can shoot out to 12.1 kilometers with this build on the secondaries. The primaries can only fire out to 18.4, and that's running a booster to increase the range of the main guns. 18.7 for the standard Bismarck without a booster with the same build. So keep that in mind. So you're losing about half a kilometer of range. Actually, you're losing more than that because, like I said, this is with a booster. We take this booster off, and suddenly you're seeing 17.9 versus 18.7, I think. Yeah. So you're losing roughly 800 meters, so 0.8 kilometers off of your main battery range. Whether you think that's worth it or not, you can kind of balance it out, like I said, by using a epic battle booster to increase your range. Other than that, it is literally just a Bismarck, guys. There's nothing that special about it. It's got more. It's got the more range on the secondaries, less range on the main guns. It looks good, and it has a little bit. It makes a little bit better silver because it's a premium ship. So, other than that, that's literally it. We still have our 5 heals, we got our secondary boosters, and we have our sonar on there, all the same for the Bismarck. Running the Italian Unity because it looks like a Spartan helmet-ish if you squint real hard and you hold your tongue just right. And then on top of that, we are running the camo that comes with it because it's sexy as hell, let's be honest. This is the only reason I bought this ship, by the way. Not just to make a video for you guys, but just because it is sexy in black, let's be honest. Very few ships that I'm actually interested in buying. The black ships are some of them. Like, they are so good looking. The Black Friday camos are amazing. I do love them. But let's get right into it. Survivability, 72,940 hit points with a 22% torp damage reduction. We still have the 380mm L52 SKC 34s. You get 8 of those. They reach out to 17.9 kilometers with this build and reload in 26 seconds. 180-degree turn time, 34.6 seconds. HE shell maximum damage 4,400 with a 34% chance to set fires. AP shell maximum damage 11,600. For the secondaries, you got the 105mm L65 Doppel C37. You get 16 of those, firing out to 12.1 kilometers with this build, and they reload in 2.7 seconds. They fire HE with a maximum damage of 1,200 and a 5% chance to set fires. And then you have the secondary 150mm L55 SKC28. You get 12 of those, firing out to 12.1 kilometers, reloading in 6 seconds. They fire HE with a maximum damage of 1,700 and an 8% chance to set fires. AA defense, you're a Bismarck, don't count on it. 20mm flak 38s, 12, you get 36 damage per second, reaching out to just 2 kilometers. 20mm flak Vierling 38, you get 8 of those, doing 12 damage per second, reaching out to 2 kilometers. 37mm flak Zwilling 30s, you get 16 of those, doing 21 damage per second, reaching out to 3.5 kilometers. And then you've got the 105mm L65 Doppel C31 dual-purpose secondaries, you get 16 of those, doing 133 damage per second, reaching out to a decent 4.5 kilometers. Maneuverability, maximum speed 31 knots, turning circle radius is 850 meters, and rudder shift time 16.8 seconds. Concealment, detectability by sea with this build, 13.3 kilometers. Detectability by air is 11.1. Guaranteed is always 2, and detectability while firing in smoke is 14.1 kilometers. Armor, you're a Bismarck. I know, it's crazy. You've got decent armor everywhere, but you also have a gigantic superstructure that's going to give up a crap ton of damage. Yeah, it's going to be a thing. So, let's take a look at it. First of all, you've got a 32mm bow, just like every other Tier 7 and up battleship, with the exception of, GK and Frederick Grossa. Now, these guys do have a little bit of a... Hello? Ah, there it is. A icebreaker bow. You get a 60mm armor belt that goes all the way to the bow. It doesn't technically go over the bow, so technically a round could squeeze in between those two plates. It's unlikely, but it could happen. But generally speaking, nothing's getting through at the waterline. Okay? Generally speaking. So if you're up against these things, you definitely want to aim towards the upper side of the deck if you're in a Yami or a Musashi. If you've got their side, you want to go through the cheek, but aim a little bit high. That way you don't hit that belt and ricochet. It's going to be a thing. Okay? It's pretty standard. There's nothing special here. You do have the turtleback armor, which I just removed. As you can see, turtleback armor. Up close and personal, it's very difficult to Citadel. Not impossible, but very difficult to Citadel a Bismarck with that turtleback. However, at anything beyond 16 kilometers, plunging fire does tend to Citadel these things relatively consistently. So keep that in mind. And with that, you do have a submerged Citadel for the most part. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not super low, but it's low enough that you're protected from the most part. Okay? Ironclad, above average armor thickness, greater resistance to all forms of armor penetration. Secondary reach, above average secondary battery range. Superior AP damage, above average AP shell damage. And Bismarck B. By the start of World War II, Bismarck was one of the mightiest battleships in the world, owing to her advanced gunfire control system and powerful artillery, her rugged construction, elaborate subdivision into compartments, and extensive armor ensured a high level of endurance. She entered service in 1940, and there were 2 of them built, one being Bismarck, the other being her sister ship, Tirpitz. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, it doesn't get much better looking than this. I mean, obviously, Iowa's better looking than this. And if they ever come out with a Black Friday Iowa version, I will definitely be buying that because sexy. Okay? Just is. But, yeah. I mean, this camo does look freaking fantastic. It does have a little bit of color here and there on the deck, which I'm not opposed to kind of break up the black. But that little bit of silver like inlays, I mean, it looks so good, man. It really does. This ship, I've always said Bismarck's a good-looking ship, even though I prefer Iowa. It's an iconic-looking ship. Everybody knows the Bismarck for the most part. And, I mean, she is a good-looking ship. And dressed in black, I mean, who doesn't like a lady in black? Am I right? So with that, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so first off, we're going to show you guys a little bit of a bonus clip. I'm rushing a smokescreen that just happens to contain a Belfast. And we're going to showcase just how nasty Bismarck secondaries can be when they actually hit the target and at reasonable range. Now, at long range, you've still got the Bismarck secondaries that tend to just go plip, 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 all over the place. Especially when you're not running the booster. However, at medium to short ranges, the secondaries of the Bismarck are absolutely disgusting against anything with not enough armor to protect it. Say a Belfast. Hi, Belfast. How are you? Thank you for, showing us that the secondaries are going to absolutely wreck you. Because God knows the main guns can't hit crap. But just watch this. So we've got the booster running, obviously. Look at the health melting away from this Belfast, just from our secondaries. Dude has already lost over 10,000 hit points to our secondaries alone. And he's just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going. There's another fire. There's just more damage. Just his health is gone. And we shoot our main guns again, and all of the shells miss except one, which ricochets off the Belfast. So, yeah. This is almost solely secondaries doing all of this. And we get our close quarters. So, yeah, secondaries on Bismarck, as expected, nasty. Now, extending that range out to 12.1 in lieu of losing, you know, 0.7 or 0.8 kilometers of main gun range, is it worth it? I mean, if you're a secondary brawler, maybe. I mean, you're not getting that much out of the secondaries extra, but you'd be surprised how many people stay just outside that 12-kilometer range, and being able to get those secondaries rolling early, getting fires, surprisingly decent. Now, remember, this is a full secondary build. We got Porcupine, we got all the things. Like, this is not a main gun-centric build, so you're not going to have the main gun accuracy that you would expect if you went a accuracy build with this ship. But that being said, what you get out of the secondaries can be fun. I hate to say it, as much as I hate the Bismarck, y'all know I don't like the Bismarck, it can be fun. It really can. In the right situation, with the right dummies that are against you, the secondaries can prove quite useful, and it's going to be one of those matches. So hopefully you guys are ready. We're going to have some fun in the Bismarck. I know, it's crazy. I don't want to tell you how many games it took me to get this. Just throwing that out there. First of all, the first clip you saw was the very first game I played. Ended up with 130k and ended up with a loss. And I was like, okay, maybe not the best game to show everybody. But this one, definitely a perfect example of a fun Bismarck match. Now remember, we're not the most accurate in the world, but we get a solid hit, 7,600 from this range. We managed to turn away, take no hits from Odin, take no hits from Venito. So being able to dish out 8,000 damage, not take anything in return, always a good thing. Now, one thing that the Bismarck has always had going for it is its ability to turn. It's one of those battleships that is very, very good at turning. So being able to dodge incoming fire is not out of the realm of possibility. My issue with the Bismarck has always been its inaccuracy, its inconsistency, and its god-awful penetration angles. Now, they've buffed the penetration angles recently, and if you run the Aladad perk on the Bismarck, it's actually usable and significantly improves the main gun consistency. So, highly recommend, if you're wanting to use the Bismarck in an efficacious manner where you actually, let's not talk, that's a Nelson, guys, calm down. It's a Nelson. Anything can punch through the bow of a Nelson, okay? Just relax. Anyway, and I mean literally anything, especially at that angle. But anyway, I digress. If you want to use the Bismarck as an actual, like, main sort of deal, your best bet is to spec kind of a middle-of-the-road build. Get decent angles, not use Porcupine, go with the Aladad skills so that you get that bonus to penetration angles, and then have decent range on your secondaries with decent accuracy. It's not amazing, but that is probably the best bet. It's kind of a general purpose, you know? I've always said general purpose has no purpose. But, you know, if you want to go full meme build like I do, it has its potential, but you're going to have a lot of frustrating moments as well. And that is something that I cannot understate. I cannot understate it. Like, you will have frustrating moments where your guns just flat out don't hit. You will have those moments where your secondaries are your primaries, essentially. But, I mean, again, if you're going for the memes, then it's not that big a deal. Now, Odin comes out. We go broadside here. We got the secondaries going. We're expecting a nice hit out of the primaries, so we get one shell that actually does damage and 3 ricochets. That's, again, those penetration angles we were talking about. Now, he turned towards us a little bit. Maybe we hit his belt, that sort of thing. But he definitely hit us harder than we hit him. Now, there is a lightning out here, but we also have a lightning. But I cannot afford to deal with the lightning at the moment. He's far enough away. He's going away from me. I shouldn't have to worry about him. Odin is definitely something I've got to watch. Now, we've got a decent accurate salvo. But again, 2 shells hit the... Oh my god, he just slapped the crap out of us. I'm telling you, Odin and Brandenburg, I swear to God, are better than Bismarck. I will take Odin or Brandenburg over Bismarck any day of the week. And Odin is nice because the torpedo tubes are at the back of the ship, so it tends to protect those torpedo tubes, so you're more likely to be able to use them in situations where you're pushing up on the enemy. Whereas Brandenburg, the torpedo tubes are right... Oh my god, finally we get a hit! But The torpedo tubes on Brandenburg are midship, which means you're more likely to have them destroyed every time somebody shoots at you, because most people shoot for the middle of the ship, let's be honest. Center of mass, that's what people go for. But look at the secondaries, like, there's no joke. Secondaries doing what they gotta do, even against a battleship, landing multiple decent hits, setting fires. We've only got one fire with the secondaries, but considering, you know, no more damage we've got, that fire did cause a freaking kill, so you love to see that. Unfortunately, speaking of kills, the enemy lightning kills our lightning. Big surprise. So we are not going to chase down a destroyer. This is fully capable of dealing with destroyers, but we don't have sonar right now. Our hydro is down for the next 2 minutes, and we don't have a secondary booster. It's down for the next minute. So we're going to turn back in and try to grab the Charlie Cap. We've got Nelson here, again, just absolutely begging for it. At this angle, it's pretty much guaranteed Citadel. We aim for the bow area of the ship. You can see he's kind of coasting forward. That's going to land a pretty solid hit. Another Citadel on Nelson. It's literally the easiest ship in the world to Citadel. If you've got 15-inch guns and above, it's like guaranteed Citadels. Like, guaranteed. If it's bow in, it's guaranteed Citadel. If it's over-angled, guaranteed Citadel. If you shoot the belt of the Nelson, that's the only place it really has any armor and can actually do anything. But here we've got Shores pushing towards us. He starts to turn, so we're going to try to anticipate where he's going to be. We take the shot over the island, and it looks like a decent grouping. However, only 2 shells managed to... Well, 3 shells hit the target out of that full broadside of 8 shells, so less than 50% accuracy out of a salvo. Not bad. Our secondaries doing what they got to do. They're already firing, and that's what I'm saying. And they're scoring hits. They're not just firing. That's the difference between a Bismarck with a full secondary build and a Bismarck that has the kind of main gun-centric secondaries with a little bit of extra range. Because if you go main gun-centric, your secondaries are like a fireworks display. But here you see we get the Citadel. I mean, it's a Shores. He's over-angled. He's begging for it. So it's pretty much guaranteed. Lightning has put himself in a position where he's going to start getting shot at by the secondaries. And you can see the difference in speed. Our secondaries immediately kicking off and putting that frickin' Lightning on notice. Like, you cannot get away with just shooting willy-nilly at a Bismarck that is a full secondary build, because they will reach out and touch you. Like, it don't matter how far away you are. If it's a full secondary build Bismarck, these secondaries will find you. And they will bring you to justice, okay? But yeah, so we get some hits with the secondaries, we get some hits with the primaries. That's going to keep the Lightning off our back for a moment. We're using the islands to keep our distance. We did manage to help get a cap here. So that's always a good thing. I lied. Apparently we didn't help get a cap at all. Thought we did. But either way, didn't help get a cap apparently. But we're heading towards the Massachusetts. Our Massachusetts on the enemy team is pushing up on our destroyers. He has 2 destroyers as escorts. Now, this is an ideal situation for a Bismarck. Now, Bismarck, like I said, has great sonar. It allows you to see those torpedoes coming. It also allows you to detect these destroyers when they're in their smoke screens. So, always good to have that in your back pocket. Now, here, I shoot at the shoot the front guns at the upper side plating. Again, not the best shot because it's Bismarck. Rear guns do a lot better job. We get 5 overpins total, so we've actually hit quite a few shells there. Just not quite able to finish off Massachusetts because of will to rebuild. Who could have seen that coming? Yay! Notice that I go ahead and I select the destroyer here as the primary target for the secondaries because there are more than one person that it could shoot at. So we shoot the front guns, we shoot the rear guns, and we're going to finish off the destroyer, which is going to take away the Massachusetts' ability to instantly recover all of his health. Now notice the secondaries are now firing at both the Massachusetts and the Akatsuki on my left. We're trying to keep ourselves in a position where both sides of the ship can fire at targets with the secondaries, which is where the Bismarck really starts to shine. If you can get into these situations, it really does show. And Bismarck secondaries take out the Akatsuki, no problem. We pick up our high cow. We've got the Massachusetts burning. Our secondaries going off. Unfortunately, the kid managed to set the fire that caused the kill on Massachusetts. Really thought we were going to get that. You can see secondaries, again, blasting away. No problem whatsoever. Targeting the Veneto at 11.8 kilometers and landing hits. Like, it takes a little while for the shells to get there, but they are landing multiple hits every time they fire. And then we flip around and the other side's ready to shoot at him with the secondaries. And so we're at 125,000 damage. The Lightning has smoked up. He's capturing the Charlie cap. We're in the Beta cap, or Bravo cap. So Veneto goes down. That leaves just the Lightning. And we're going to sit here behind this island, get this base cap, guarantee the win. There's no reason to chase a Lightning off the map. But we are going to try to catch this Lightning because, again, I was doing this for the memes, right? So we've had a pretty solid game. 141 secondary hits, all right? This is a solid game. Plus, we got 4 kills. If we can manage to get 1 more, that'll be which is a great time, a little cherry on top of a Bismarck game where we've gotten lots of secondary hits and we've done everything. We've got a close quarters medal on the Akatsuki. We've got, you know, killing multiple destroyers. If we can kill the 3rd destroyer, that means we have taken out all 3 of the destroyers with the Bismarck, which is huge. We managed to take out a Massachusetts. We took out the Odin. Like, we've done really well. And so to get that cherry on top is always something that I'm looking for. And this is no exception. You can see where a smoke screen is. And we're going to head towards the cap, see if we can't get in here and get some extra XP, as well as potentially getting in to attack this freaking Lightning. We know the Lightning's already hurt. He's not got all the health. He just left the cap. As you can see, our destroyer is capturing the base. The destroyer is hiding behind the island. I don't blame him whatsoever. But I was really hoping that I could bait this Lightning into coming after my Bismarck. Because, again, I'm on the hunt for the Kraken. So if I can bait him in, we might be able to get the Kraken and get the base cap and just seal off what I believe would be basically a perfect game in the Bismarck. Unfortunately, that's not what happens. The Lightning, he's already made up the decision. He wants nothing to do with my Bismarck. Apparently, hiding behind an island, shooting me with fire, and getting shot back with my secondaries was enough of a warning that this guy's like, nah, I ain't about that life. But you know, we don't have any sonar left, so we gotta dodge torpedoes the old school way. We know we're in a battleship. We know he's been spotting us, so we change course. I know, it's crazy. You gotta anticipate destroyers torping you. It's crazy. I don't know why more battleship captains can't figure that out. Sailing in a straight line all the time's a bad play. So we make a hard course correction to the left. I'm trying to anticipate where the destroyer is. We knew his smoke screen was over to the right, but I'm fairly confident he's hunting me at this time. So you can see I'm using, every time I go dark, I'm thinking he's behind the islands. And I actually do get this correct. However, he loops all the way back around because he doesn't want to fight me, and he runs away from me. And then, worse than that, he runs away from me and then hides behind a goddamn island, so I can't even shoot him. It's bullcrap. But our kid is on his way to hunting this Lightning down. The Lightning's lost all of his health again. We took pretty much all the health off of him. But look at him smoke up and then just stop behind the island. Our secondary is firing straight into the island. We don't have a position to shoot him. And the kid, unfortunately, is going to be able to kill him before we can do anything about it. It's unfortunate, but, you know, Krakens don't mean anything, but it is nice as a little cherry on top. But we had a solid game. That was a pretty fun Bismarck game. 125,000 damage, top of the leaderboard, just under 3k base, 2,800 base XP. Not bad. So let me know what you guys think. My recommendation, I personally wouldn't recommend you buying the Bismarck Black for anything other than it's a sexier Bismarck. Okay? So that's my personal opinion on the matter. There's not enough differences. You do make a decent chunk of change, as you guys saw there at the end. We made a decent chunk of change because you do get that Tier 7 premium ship bonus for credits. So maybe that's another reason to pick it up. But other than that, I mean, unless you're just a Bismarck person, like you just really enjoy Bismarck, there's no real reason to pick it up. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.